No, definitely, and this is probably because we sit all three together here. Because I think I'll have to give some background on some of the questions that you're asking. Otherwise, if I just answer them in isolation, it sometimes wouldn't make sense. So please bear with me if I'm giving long answers, and we'll get to Stocker and to Jacques. I have to quickly just give you a recap. When we came back from Ireland, the women's 15-man code were closed down because there was just simply not a pathway for women. And, there were girls who played for Springbok Women who played 4 matches in their life. So first of all, it was life-threatening to them playing against professional players. And second of all, it just wasn't fair to the South African and the Springbok Women brand to let those girls play against teams that are fully professional. So we actually closed down the women's 15 and we started 8 youth training centers where we just get the girls playing rugby, enjoying rugby, socializing, and because you don't have the natural school path like boys have when they go through schools, any school, not just rugby schools. So when we got back, we actually were running a 7s program for women, almost fully professional, just not as big a contract as the men had, and they were running exactly the same program as the men's 7 ran, and we know how successful our men's program were, and the women's 7s were reporting into the high performance manager Marius Skuman, and it was falling under the 7th department. As we came back, we said we had to find somebody. We're doing something really wrong. I put up my hand and said, guys, I think we're running a men's program with women here, and we decided when I presented to the Exco that we have to get a specialist lady in. I think you all know Lynn Cantwell by now. And this is a lady who's played 7 at the highest levels, who's played the 15 code, 15 women code, and who's won Grand Slams. And I think who's played 87 test matches and is a qualified physio, and she's been in World Rugby committees and everything. She did investigation, and the biggest worry was, and I said it straight up, if we don't do something, we're going to get 100 points at the World Cup. Then with COVID striking, we had to close the 7s program, and we fully concentrated on the women's program. And we actually got to the point where women's rugby is now our 2nd highest priority, highly ranked, higher rank than junior Springboks. Higher rank than the Blitzbokke. So it's men's Springbok and then women's Springbok. So I can tell you the fight they put up against the French, and I'll close the game against Fiji is certainly the game that we targeted, and it's going to be now a really tough test match against England. But I believe if we didn't intervene and you look at the progress that they would have made, I'm seeing Japan way back in 1995 when they lost against the All Blacks, the men's team, by 145 points. I actually think we prevented that. And we've got now 19 contracted players, and we've got girls who's played a lot of test matches, who've beat Japan. And yes, if we had a chance, unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to speak to the media. I was actually trying to get that message out that, the Fiji game is probably the big one. And if we can really show progress, sorry for a long answer, but people who has followed the women's game and has seen how our women normally play would see that there's definitely progress. So no, I don't think it's a failure. Sorry for the long answer, but I had to do some.
Great, thank you.